Hello, all my happy friends and frogs. How's everyone doing? How's your work week been? How's everyone feeling? Is everybody up to par? We'll see. We'll see. I don't know if I'm going to get into a reading of the Daily Stoic today. I know I want to. But I just wanted to give you a couple of metaphors about the things that I'm trying to get you to do, to get you to understand. I'm Cassie, and this is Cassie's Corner. This is where I talk about things that I want to talk about, and usually I want to talk you out of your depression, and it's not as easy as me talking and you listening. No. You have to be tired of it yourself. This is going to have to be something you want to be done. I can't force you to be well. I can't force you to want to be well. I can't force you to want a better life. I am no professional in any kind of behavioral sciences or no psychologist, no doctorate, nothing of that sort. I just have learned these tips and tricks from my own experience with a deep, dark depression. We're talking about a depression that lasted about 15 to 20 years. I am where I am now, but 6 years ago, about 6 years ago, I even looked through journals that were 2024 recently, and they would note that I cried most of the day. I have no idea what I was crying for. It doesn't say, but it just says I was crying, and I'm assuming that it was an off and on thing all day, like I would hide back here and cry. So I just know from experience. I know what it's like to feel like you don't belong anywhere. I know what it feels like to feel invalidated, however you say that. I know what it feels like to not feel special to anyone. I know what it's like to not be the favorite of the family. I know how it feels to not be included in certain situations, like maybe your brother and your sister, they got presents, but for somehow you were looked over. Maybe it was because they knew that you weren't going to say anything, or maybe no one even thought about it at all, but it can still hurt the same. Maybe they knew that, you weren't petty in that nature. It still just hurts the same. I'm sorry, but it does. I did a video yesterday, and I did it like 4 times, and my computer, not having any memory much to store videos, didn't want to take it. Every time I did it, it was like a blank thing. So I didn't record yesterday's video, and it was a good one too. Maybe I'll go back to it. I don't know. Today I just wanted to reach out to all of you, especially since it's Friday, and give you some metaphors and some examples of what I'm trying to do with your brain. I'm not trying to, I just want you to feel better. I just want you to find peace, and I want you to be happy. I think everybody deserves that. Nobody deserves to be depressed. Nobody deserves to get angry at the little things. Nobody deserves to be depressed over small things. And all the little small things, I understand, have grown into something majorly big. I got it. Been there, done that. But the way that I feel now, the way that I look at things now, it is easier for me to forget the things that have, how do I say it? That have offended me. It is easier to just walk away. It is so much easier not to think about it anymore. Once it's just dealt with, or once I've used my brain to give the person that's saying it so much of a shadow of a doubt, pretty much. I've learned to, let it go out of my brain. I'm not thinking about it anymore. I'm not worried about it anymore, and I don't dwell over it anymore. But I did want to liken ourselves, number one, to a computer. Our brains are a computer. We are a machine. We're not plugged into the wall, and we don't have Wi-Fi or anything like that. But as a body, we are sort of a machine. In our brain is what we call the motherboard. You have a motherboard in a computer. You have a motherboard in a computer fueled a computer smart car, whatever. You have a motherboard, and that thing holds everything together. It's like the central place where everything is stored. Um, there are CPUs and there are gigahertz and there are applications, and there's everything in your brain, in your uh, motherboard. You have to think of it like that. Okay, I know that with other computers like a Dell or an HP or a Galaxy, you kind of have to what they call defrag the computer, and that is where it's a process, or you used to. I don't know what it's like anymore. I've only had Macs for like the last 15, 20 years. So, but there's this program on your computer that compresses everything together and gets rid of things that are not necessary. And it will give you more memory. It will give you more space, and you can store more storage that is more important. Maybe you've clicked on a website that doesn't mean anything. And that website left some cookies or cache or things of that nature, and your computer now wants to get rid of it because you haven't been back on that computer. It's not an everyday ritual. So you have to get rid of that space. So you go in and you defrag it, and that and some other stuff has been done away with, whether it's photos that you don't need or things that you've saved in your computer, or things that you don't need anymore in your computer, and it's wiped it all out and swept it all away. That's kind of what we need to do with our brains. It's kind of what I do with my brain with the Daily Stoic. I take that information and I defrag everything that is important to me now. Not what was important to me before, but now. Everything I want to do now. And I defrag my brain and I get rid of all this small stuff, what I call dust bunnies. There are applications in my brain, and these are the things that I do on a daily basis, or the things, my name, my birthday, they're always going to be there. Always, always, always. And then there's secondary things that maybe your spouse's birthday, maybe your child's birthday, maybe your children's names, your grandchildren's names, and where you live and things like that. And then there's the third, and that's everything you've learned, thirdly, and that is probably schoolwork and what you learn in school, French, history, mathematics, and medical medical school, things that your career, things of that nature. So that's how I separate the brain, and that's how I've learned to separate the brain since I have been doing the Daily Stoic. Okay, so the Stoicism comes in, and I'm still learning every day. I refuse to believe that no matter how old you are, that you cannot learn something new every day. So what I learned from here, I put it in, and it's the topmost thing I want to hold on to right now. I don't want to forget my name. I don't want to forget my birthday. I don't want to forget any of my children. I don't want to forget any of my spouse's things. I don't want to forget any of my grandchildren, anything of that nature. So all that's still going to be there. But what I have to learn are things from my past that are not benefiting me. Things from my past that are slowing me down. Things from my past that are holding me back. So I take this information, this good information, and I replace it with all that bad thoughts. Now, do I still think about those bad thoughts every once in a while? But I don't dwell on them like I used to. I don't dwell on what I should have said, or I should have said thank you, or I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done this. Or I wish they hadn't have said this, and I wish my parents would have loved me more. I mean, both of them are gone now, so I can't really, what good is that doing me? And I didn't attack that situation when they were alive. I didn't tackle that. So that's my problem. But now I have to let it go because neither one of them are here. So that is where we are. Anything in my childhood, anything in my teenage life, and anything in my young adulthood that I did or didn't do correctly, I have to let it go. I have to let all that past stuff go, because this right here, all this stuff that I'm trying, that I read to you, helps so much with what is making me feel good now. So that was kind of one of the analogies I wanted to give you. Also, I also want to think of yourself as a car. Here we go. If you want, you get in your car, you crank it up. You kind of want it to go in reverse. You kind of want it to go in drive. You kind of want it, whatever gear you want to shift it in, that's how you're going to go. But you're not going to go if you don't have gas. You're not going to go if you don't have the oil. You're not going to go if everything is not working properly. You might go for a while, but you're not going to go as fast, and you're going to run sluggish, and you're going to also just find noises. I compare the noises of a car to like the creaking of our bones when we stand up in the morning. Sorry. Or, okay, think of the steering wheel. It's not going to go right until you turn that steering wheel. I mean, you can go down the road and turn on the blinker all you want, but if you don't turn that wheel, it's not going to go to the right. Same with the left. Go down the road, turn on the blinker, it's not going to go to the left until you tell it to. Okay, so incorporate that with your brain. Your brain is not going to think good thoughts until you put good thoughts in there. And that is what our affirmations do. That is what the list is. That is what the grateful list, that's what that is. That is what we want to think about when we're going down the road. We want to think about all the good things as we're driving along in our brains. Okay, we're driving our brains. We have to think of it like that because it's just easy. It won't, like I said, it won't turn the way you want it to unless you yourself turn it. You are in control of that wheel. That wheel may be there. It may turn the wheel. It may make you go in whatever direction, but it's not going to turn unless you turn it. Okay? That is where I am with that one. Okay. The windows. The windows are like the brakes. Everybody needs a brake. Everybody needs that air to come into them and just breathe. And not always just rely on the air conditioner. Because if we rely on the air conditioner, we're wasting gas. I'm sorry, guys. I was a car person, and I use my computer every day. And we're sitting here using computers every day. And our phones also. So I kind of had to think of those analogies to kind of get people to understand where I'm going with this daily stoic stuff. It's not the stoicism that I'm enthralled with. It's how it works the brain. It's how it's helping me steer my brain the right way. And that is why I'm so intent on reading it for you and giving it to you. You cannot change the way you think until you want to change, until you want to take a left turn. You can't, it's just not, it's not going to benefit you to try to change something if you feel like it's okay for you. If you want to be sad, that's fine. That's up to you. If you want to be depressed, that's fine. That's up to you. But I can't make you anything I say, anything that I give you that you are not going to use is still going to be true. You change your brain. You change the way you think. You are responsible for all those things. You are holding the wheel. You are using the gas and the brake pumps. You are using the gear shift. All of these things you are responsible for. Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere. And I feel that's the same with the brain. Like a child, kind of. You have to revert to childhood, and I'm not talking about like sucking on bottles and pacifiers and binkies and going back to diapers or anything like that. But you have to treat yourself as a child. Go and talk to your former child self and say, hey, we made a lot of mistakes. I need to talk to you about this. I don't like the way we were. I don't like what our decisions were, and I really don't. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to cradle you, and I'm going to coddle you, and I'm going to help you through this. Even though they've already happened, I'm going to help you forget it, okay? So that way you don't have to grow up and be depressed like I'm. So just cuddle yourself and be your own little child and treat yourself as a child and be like, nope, 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 nope. You can't think about that kind of thing. That kind of worked for me too. I kind of had to uh, be my own child for a few minutes and say, hey, you don't want to think about that stuff. That's not good for you. Let's not think about that. Let's not dwell on this person. Let's not dwell on what that person thought. Let's not dwell on this behavior. Let's not dwell on how you could have done this right or how you could have done this wrong. Just don't think about that kind of thing. Just forget all that right now and just erase it. Just get rid of it. And we're going to start from now. Now, what can you do? That is right. Now, what can you do that can steer your brain in the right direction? And that's all I'm asking you to do. I'm not asking you, especially if you don't want to be depressed or anxious. I can't breathe for some reason. So if I feel like if it sounds like I'm having problems, I'm just not breathing right now. And it's not anything. I think it's just hot. But we have to recondition our brain. We have to defrag our brain to get it to work right. A lot of people go on in life not needing to defrag their brain because they already know what's important, what isn't important to them, how they want to live. And when they made a mistake, okay, I've made a mistake. Step over it. Let's go. There are a lot of people like that, I'm sure. But there are people that do somewhat suffer from depression and wonder what it's like to not have to worry about how you've behaved or, what is said or what is done. It's wonderful, wonderful. I'm glad for those people. I really am. But there are most of us who suffer from some type of depression that we can't get over. I feel like a lot of us are, and a lot of us are just behaving in public and trying to hide that from people. We don't want anybody to know that we have a weakness. It's okay to have a weakness. It really is. I don't want you to go around and being proud of it. Gosh, no. Nobody wants to be proud of weaknesses. But I don't want you to hide from them either. That's not fair. Yeah, I have weaknesses. I'm human. I've made mistakes. Nobody can be perfect. Let's not think of us as perfect little angels. And we're going to hide everything that we ever done wrong. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to be grown-ups, and we're going to say, hey, I can do this wrong. Even if you admit it to yourself, hey, that was kind of wrong on my part. Do I need to go apologize to this person? Is there somebody I can talk to? Or you can be, let's not bring it up. Let's be mature and not even worry about it. Not even worry about it anymore. I made a mistake. All I can do is apologize if it comes up again, but I'm not going to be the one, to put myself in that position again. So that's all this is. That's all I want to get you to do, to understand that your brain does need to be kind of rewired, and you need to think like you had before you got depressed. A lot of people don't even realize when they got depressed. A lot of people don't even realize they are depressed. They lay in bed and they just mope and wander and don't want to do anything and don't see anything getting any better. It's not going to get any better until you change it. You have to fix it all. Everybody else is waiting for somebody to come rescue them. And I realized that, yeah, I did that too. I was waiting for I was a pretty little princess, and I wanted everybody, somebody, my spouse, maybe my future spouse, to come and rescue me and take all this bad stuff away. When we married, more bad stuff came. Different bad stuff. So it wasn't like he was saving me from anything. I didn't need him to save me. I needed me to save me. And that part of my brain where I needed him to fix me needed to go away, because I still held a grudge in my depression for him not saving me from whatever it is I needed to save him from. So that's that. That's all. I just needed a chance to explain to you what it was I was feeling, the analogies, and how everything came to be. If you like my content, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Leave me a comment. Those let YouTube know that I fit in their algorithm. I do have a email. It's Cassie's Corner at Cassie's_corner@outlook.com. You can reach me there personally. I don't mind. You can say anything. You can say, oh, you're ugly, you're stupid, I don't like your video. You can say anything you want to. I don't care. You can't hurt me. I've heard it all. I really have. You can, if there's a situation where you're like, my cousin this and my cousin that, and you don't want it to be something out in a forum where it's public and you're afraid that somebody else may pick up on who they may be. That's what that's for. I just wanted a personal way for you to get in touch with me. And I'll say it again. It's Cassie's, no apostrophe, underscore, corner at outlook.com. I'm there and I check it every day. And then I'm on Facebook, but it's called Bows of Happiness. If you look at Bows of Happiness, facebook.com/Bows of Happiness. I'm there. It'll say Cassie's period corner. I have no idea where that period came from, and I have no idea how to get rid of it, so I'm sorry. But I've kind of I'm putting up pictures, and I'm putting up little memes of the things that I say on here, whether it be stoicism. I try to make it bright and light and loving so that everybody knows if I'm not here, you don't see me on YouTube, then I'm there posting stuff quite often. So yeah, we can be computers. We need to think of our brains as computers because pretty much that's what they are. They're machines. The only thing is we're in human form and they're in electric form. Okay, so we need to keep our motherboard clear. We need to defrag and get rid of all that nastiness that happens in our brain. And we're a car. We are responsible. Yeah, we can get in the car. We can crank it up. If you don't have any gas, it's not going to go anywhere. If your, mechanisms are not clean and you haven't dusted all the clutter off of it, it's not going to get us so far. It may get us there. It may not get us there as fast. And then we have to be responsible for the wheel. We are responsible for if it turns right or left, no matter how many blinkers, how many blinkers we put on, it's not going to turn on itself. The gears are our fault. Everything is our fault in our car. Everything. So that's what your brain is. And that's how you need to think of it. That's how I feel like you should think of your brain. Whatever you put in it, you're going to get out of it. If you put cheap gas in it, cheapness is what you're going to get out of it too. How I know how to explain it. So that is my thought for today. But happy Friday. I do hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I hope that some of this stoicism stuff, I hope that it can get to you and you can replace the good with the bad. Because that is glorifying. It is so, praise God, the answers are like right in front of us. Even though we do or do not grasp them, they're still right there in front of us. And the answers are there. They really are. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope that you're smiling. I hope you have an awesome weekend. And I will see you again soon. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the subscribers. Thank you for everything. I really appreciate it very much. I have fun doing this. I love doing these videos. Whereas, again, in the past, I would never show my face. I felt like I'm just some old lady, fat, doughy, and no, I'm not. But I really feel like I need to, if I'm going to tell you how to live or give you tips and tricks about how to behave, it's 78 degrees today, y'all. It's hot. Where did that come from? If I'm going to give you an example about what's good for your brain or what is not good for your brain, I feel like I need to show my face. So that is why I do show my face. I don't always make it up, but I do show it. And that's a miracle all in itself. I have people you can ask. You want to call them? Have a good one, people. Love you much. You're worthy, okay? And you deserve the best. But you got to change your brain to get there. All right, bye-bye.